Hi everyone, welcome to Cleared for Takeoff, and we're the Aerospace Engineering Club at Walter Payton College Prep. In this series, we're talking with aerospace students and professionals to help high schoolers better understand what this field actually looks like. From college pathways to research and career advice, our goal is to give you real insight from people who are living it. Today, we're excited to be joined by Sneha, a PhD student in aerospace engineering at the University of Illinois, Champaign. So, for our first question, we were wondering what first ignited your interest in the field of aerospace engineering, and what was the moment when you knew that's like kind of what you wanted to pursue in your career?
Okay, so to be very honest with you, in the beginning, when I was of your age, I did not know what to do. I had multiple interests in the sense that I was always curious about the world, and you would always see me flipping through pages of the encyclopedia, like be it art, history, science, anything. I was just curious about everything. But I am very lucky that my parents saw that I was really drawn to space, and I would constantly engage in like astronomy stuff. But my father is a marine engineer, and he kind of pushed me towards engineering. And that's how they helped me select my path. To be honest, when in school you learn about different things, and I thought that I was really interested or drawn towards chemistry, and I'll tell you later like how that kind of played a role when I got into my undergrad college and I was looking through all these like focus areas, and I found interest in propulsion.
Yeah.
And I could actually combine my interest in chemistry and also like in space, and that decided my path for a while. I worked a lot on electric propulsion systems. My entire undergrad thesis was actually based on electric propulsion system, but right now I'm working on human-centered engineering. So you can see that whatever I was interested in kind of took a curved path to what I'm doing right now. Um, so I guess aerospace engineering is really fascinating, and you guys might know because you attended the summer camp as well. And there are so many things that you can do there. The possibilities are limitless, but one thing that you must know that it is also multidisciplinary. So no matter what you do, you can um, apply knowledge from every field in aerospace. Um, I don't know if I diverged a little from the question, but does this answer?
It does, because it really shows us like how many different like aspects there are to aerospace engineering and how many different like educational like s- tracks kind of can lead to there. So, yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that I want you to know is that I did my undergrad in India,
Uh,
but for my master's, I thought like because in India at that time, electric propulsion was not being looked at by various industries, or people weren't that open about research in this field. So I kind of had to apply to for masters to universities outside of India.
yeah.
And here there are complications for international students about like ITAR regulations, like defense projects.
Yeah.
So that restricted some of my options. So my master's was more of like coursework related, and I learned about space systems engineering as a whole. Like I learned about all the different aspects within space systems that could help an entire vehicle to move. So that's what I did.
Thank you. So we saw that you've attended some very like prestigious universities throughout your life, like Urbana-Champaign and Cornell. Can you briefly talk about maybe your experience at each of them? Like how are they different? How are they similar? And how do they essentially give you like a platform to achieve your career goals?
So I did summer school sort of at Cornell, but I did my master's at University of Michigan, and I'm doing my PhD at University of Illinois. So the Midwestern universities are pretty similar, but University of Michigan I guess, has a little bit higher tech because in terms of say library resources or the help that you get from the university, I found that University of Michigan was replete with that. Cornell, I wouldn't be able to say much because it was more of a space systems design project that we did with the professors there. And we got to know about some of their research. And you have to know that each university specializes on a particular area. It could be multiple areas that overlap, and you'd see that some of these universities frequently collaborate with each other. But University of Illinois, the faculty, the staff, they're really helpful. And I guess there's more active attempts to include more human-centered engineering that I did not see in Michigan as much, but also the focus areas are different. So that way it differs. And also like University of Michigan is really good for propulsion and also some controls related studies. University of Illinois has one of the hardest structures focus area. So it's really, really hard, but definitely worth it if you get an admit here. Because also like the courses, they differ a lot. So you really have to see what kind of funding comes through and what kind of collaborations, projects that go on in each of these universities. I wouldn't say that one is better than the other because overall, if you see that it's just the specialization that um, differs.
About research. So obviously you're a PhD student. How long does research last, and how does like the university actually contribute to like your group's research?
Okay, so there are different aspects to this. There's no one straight answer.
Mhm.
So right now I am doing research because obviously PhD. So like I said, my research currently is around human-centered design. So basically that deals with astronauts
Mhm.
in long-distance human spaceflight. And my focus is on emergency situations. But another aspect of my research is also engineering education design. And it kind of maps out like how people what from different institutions kind of shapes their choices, their outlook of the world, of the design, and that kind of translates to the decisions that they make in a professional setting. So that's my research right now. And I'm kind of blending in ethics as well in all of these things. But how to choose a research topic, I guess, depends on your interest first. Like I said, like back in undergrad, I had interest in propulsion. So I did projects in combustion and then other, design related studies, including propulsion. And then in master's, I kind of moved on to space systems engineering and then I tried to look for opportunities. So, in order to find a research gap, you need to see what these papers are telling you. Like, you need to read a lot and find out where are the gaps. Like, if you can find a fault, like, nothing is fault proof. And especially in a field of aerospace design, and when we have not again I don't know, like I'm veering more towards my current research, but like since Apollo, we have not sent a human to the moon again. And what are the different, you know, problems regarding that? So you can start with a problem, like you notice that, okay, in this propulsion system, maybe I am finding this issue. What could be the what are others saying about this? And you read a bunch of research papers, you consolidate all that information, and then you question, you critically analyze like what are the pros and cons, and then you kind of move with it. So it's a journey of that. And in college, these research opportunities can be, for ranging from like a semester's work to like, 2 years for it for a master's thesis, and then it can also extend to PhD. So it really depends on your interest, the funding source, who is funding the project, because um, if say it's a project coming from the Air Force, so they will give you like it's a 2 or 3 years project and we need this. So you basically work for them. So that also decides the duration of the project. Sometimes if you're an undergrad, it's like they're not given the larger task, they're given the smaller task. So what can you do with all of those things that's given to you? Like your grad researchers or your professors would tell you what to do, basically. In undergrad, you're still learning. Like in Illinois, we have a specific course like 298, where undergrads are kind of like given an opportunity to engage with grad students and be a part of their research. So the way that it works is that the grad student may be doing some of their research, and then they would give specific tasks to the undergrad to perform. And by that, you kind of like have a research experience in case you are not part of lab, but like you want to know, how to research, how to write a paper, or how to send in abstracts and stuff like that. So there are possibilities where you can learn and then apply that knowledge as well. So it really depends on the project and the funding source more so. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, for our next question, we know that aerospace is a vast and complex field that ranges from planes to rockets. So, how difficult is college and the path to a PhD for an aerospace engineering student? Is there a lot of homework, not much sleep, and how much of a role does passion play?
Well, it is rocket science, so it's not that easy. And freshman year, you're still kind of transitioning from school to learning different principles. And I can't speak about all colleges, but here at Illinois, I feel like they um, try to make you feel like you're doing something, like something tangible in terms of making gliders or rockets or stuff like that, and you analyze, you put in all these physics and other principles into play, and you have something to I don't know, like have have a proof of concept that works for you. You might know from the summer camp as well, like some of the fin design, what would change, and all of those things, like how it affects the rocket, and all of those things come into play. So um, from second year, you kind of delve deeper into the concepts and everything else, and you start building on that knowledge, and it gets progressively hard. Like till second year, you're still good. But as soon as you become a junior, you will feel that pressure coming in. You will not deal with one class, you will deal with 3 or 4 classes together, and you just don't have assignments for these classes. You also have like exams, sometimes two, sometimes three, and you have to juggle with all of those things. So yes, there are late nights, especially during projects, and during the end of the semester is where it gets really hard, because you are also doing these different projects, and then exams, right? And then you have other things to tend to. So I guess what you need to move forward with is a clear time management strategy, because that goes a long way no matter what you do, be it undergrad, be it grad school. Time management is really necessary. How you prioritize your tasks depending on the deadlines really goes a long way. And try to study in groups as well, because I feel like that helps you a lot um, if you don't waste time. So those study strategies really help. And if you get good peer support, then it also goes a long way.
All right. So kind of moving like staying with the topic of like school and undergrad and different programs, how did you
Mhm.
decide that a PhD program was something like that you wanted to do, and like instead of just maybe going to get a master's and going into the workforce, or going after your undergrad into the workforce? And how would you help a current undergrad to decide if they should do a master's or PhD program?
Um, so for me, it was like I really wanted to be in academia. Like I wanted to be I wanted to do research as well and also teach. So that's how I kind of ended up doing my PhD. So I really did not just want to apply knowledge. I also want to create it, become an expert in my field, and possibly know everything that's related to human factors or, space systems design. So that's how I decided my PhD path. But a master's degree can help you focus on any of these focus areas like structures, propulsion, or controls, or any other. So it's more of coursework based. Sorry, but um, sometimes you can opt for the thesis option for it, and if you feel like research is what you want to do, then you continue with it and do a PhD. And sometimes it acts like a testing ground. It really depends on what you want in the end. Um,
Mhm.
so you can go into the industry after a master's with that specialized knowledge and apply for associate level roles. After a bachelor's, you would probably apply for entry level roles, but eventually, after 2 years, you would get promoted to associate level roles. So it really depends on what you want.
Mhm.
Sometimes people come back for a master's after they get some kind of job exposure and they feel like, okay, this is something that I want to specialize in and I want to know more about that. So they come back and then get a master's and then go back. Sometimes these masters are sponsored by the corporate industry, like they basically fund your entire masters. So there are so many different pathways that you can choose. So it really depends on what your goals are, what you want to do with your degree, because those are not like just paper certificates,
Yeah.
right? Like you have to do something with it, what you really want to do. And for the next 10 years, can you imagine yourself doing the same work, or where you want to end up decides path that you choose. So PhD in that case is a big commitment, and you have to know that it's different from a master's thesis, even if you do that, because mostly people are given a problem that they are supposed to solve. But in PhD, you create your problem and you're supposed to solve it. And you need to ask yourself that if you enjoy open-ended problems with a clear solution, or if you're comfortable with long-term uncertainty, because PhD path is not easy. Sometimes you would do years of research and then find out that it's fundamentally wrong because the results don't match. So you need to start over again. So PhD is more about being persistent with your choices and being more persevering. And if you're determined that, okay, I want to be an expert in this field, so I will do this, then there are some ethical concerns as well. Like you cannot just produce results that did not make sense or cook up results. They have to be proper, right? So those are some things that you need to keep in mind if you pursue a PhD. But definitely that after PhD, uh, if you choose to be in academia, then you can directly either apply for jobs in academia, or do a postdoc and then apply for jobs, or whatever that is. Or you can go for industry related jobs where you'd get the senior level positions, because um, it is counted as 5 years of experience. So that's something that you should keep in mind. And it's PhD is focused on generating new knowledge, and it's often fully funded in engineering. Now, Illinois has a 5 year funding guarantee, but a lot of colleges might not. And your PhD program depends heavily on your funding. Like you can get TA support, which means that you need to be a teaching assistant, and basically the department pays for your um, education, like tuition and all of those things. But it's not guaranteed, and it's reserved for, if you lose your funding, in some cases, for those things, like in case you lose your funding. So yeah, your funding, your advisor is important, and also the research direction. And your PhD may look different in US, and it may be different in other countries. Like I know that European countries and some, I think, universities also over here, they offer industrial PhDs, which is basically like the company gives you a specialized project in which you basically do a PhD in. So your entire work kind of deal is being dealt by the company. So uh, that's something to look into as well.
Thank you.
So the three of us, we're all juniors in high school, and we're applying to colleges in this fall. So if you were back in high school today, what would you focus on to build a strong foundation for aerospace engineering, and kind of what activities and what programs would you focus on?
Um, okay, that's a difficult question for me to answer because I did my undergrad in India, and I might not be fully aware of the things that you need in US. Um, but from what I've heard, I know that having different experiences, like technical experiences, but also like other interests, give you a stronger hold, that you're not like just doing, your coursework, but you're applying it somewhere. The summer camp is a good example. Like you are trying to apply some of the knowledge that you gain, and you're making something tangible. So those things really help. And, but also, I guess, like your extracurriculars matter, because you just don't want to be completely into studies. You have to do other things as well. Um, and you never know, like, what kind of skill you can apply to your degree, because in engineering clubs, you might need a different variety of skills that you can apply. So
Okay.
make sure it's an all-rounded, I don't know, application.
Mhm.
Like you're just not focused on the coursework, you're doing other things as well. Like your experience matters more than your GPA.
Okay. So we saw that you had conducted research at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is obviously one of the most prestigious aerospace organizations and labs. So, like, how was that experience like compared to the other internships that you've had, and what standards did they set there compared to others?
Um, to be very honest with you, that wasn't like a proper internship. It was more like through Michigan, we had like a course um, on spacecraft design. And through that course, basically, what happens is that a part of that course is like you have to build on a project. Now, that project was with JPL. And so we had our usual stakeholder meetings, and then they assigned all the tasks, or they gave us feedback on what needs to be done more. But we were still learning and going through the entire process. So I would say that they are really tough to impress. So you really need to work hard in order to impress them. Um, and the problems were more, you know, mission realistic, because obviously those are real missions that you need to work on, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time because it's rigorous, and uh, it was intense. Yeah.
Thank you. And would you recommend a major in aerospace engineering or in a minor in CS or something else, given the importance of AI and the computers in today's world and job market?
um Honestly, what is your motivation to study? Like, do you want to do something for yourself, for the society, or where does your interest lie? So that decides what you want to do more. If you feel like you are interested more in aerospace engineering, then I think you should go for that as a major, and you can have computational sciences and all of those things as your minor. And then if you feel like as you move through the coursework, you feel more aligned with computational stuff, then you can probably switch your major. That's an option as well. But it really depends on what you want. So I can't give you a definitive answer. I would really strongly suggest that you do what you are truly interested in, because your entire life depends on that. Like your entire career depends on what you like. You have to pick something that you want to do every day, that you wake up every morning and it gives you a motivation to like live and keep doing your work. So depends on you. But
Thank you.
yeah, it's moving more towards AI, but like I said, aerospace is heavily multidisciplinary. So there's a lot of CS components in aerospace, and I've seen a lot of people transition from CS to aerospace in order to be in controls design and all of those things. So depends on your interests.
So for our next question, we were wondering how much does the school you go to matter for the job market? And is it something that is really crucial when you're looking for internships and research opportunities?
I guess, yes, I would say that school reputation matters, especially for first opportunities. So, top schools like Illinois or Michigan, they have a different pipeline, like a recruiting pipeline, and they have stronger alumni networks. So, they would essentially connect you to people in the industry who's like who's graduated from UIUC or Michigan or wherever, right? So school reputation really matters. Also, what matters is the research exposure. In case you are doing research, and this is kind of like important, and also like the funding, where it comes from, because and also the research that they're doing, if it's industry sponsored design projects or more like NASA projects, NSF funded projects. So those things you need to look into and decide. So before applying for any college, I would say that you look at the research that they're doing, their funding sources, their network, where it lies, how many people are in the industry, or how many people are in academia. You reach out to the grad coordinators or undergrad coordinators, I don't know, and ask them about like the strengths, and then you decide basically. But yes, in short, school reputation matters for first opportunities, definitely.
I just had a follow-up question about Yasha's question. So I know that alumni like connections and networks they matter a lot in like the financial sector and the career market. Does it hold
Mhm.
like the same weightage in the aerospace industry and other engineering industries?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, from the beginning, you should really focus on building a network. I've heard people like apply for crazy jobs, and it gets filtered by AI, or it's just in one corner. But if you know someone who is working in that same company, they can refer you, and your application can get bumped up. So it's important that you create those networks early on and you sustain them, so that you can kind of benefit from them, and it's always a mutual benefit. So um, you should really focus on that.
Okay. Uh, Alex, do you have the next question? Alex, you're muted.
Are you gonna ask the one about the clubs?
No, no, I thought you were gonna ask the internship one.
Oh, okay. Um, so about internships and co-ops. So I remember talking to, I think, one of like the guest speakers at the camps, and they were
Mhm.
talking about co-ops. So how does like going to a school like UIUC help you with the co-ops, and how important are co-ops like for experience to either like, decide if you want to leave like academia or stay in it? And how competitive are getting like those co-ops? Because I'm sure a lot of people probably want to get like the job experience and, the like resume boost.
Right. So, like I said, that if you are only focused on coursework, then no matter how high your GPA is, it doesn't matter because you will always have other people um, who have the same GPA but are also involved in a number of things, including co-ops, right? And those are really competitive to get into. Actually, recently for a seminar, someone from NASA came by, and he said that he received more than 1,000 job applications for one internship from students all over the country, and they couldn't decide who to keep and who not to. So first they kind of sorted through the GPA, and then even after that they saw like which are the students who got the fellowships from their university. So you got to apply for fellowship as well, and try your luck. Illinois has all these space society and all of these things, so there's a lot of opportunities for fellowships for undergrads, and having one of those puts you at an advantageous position over other competitors. So even if you have similar GPA or similar profiles, having a fellowship does make a difference, I guess. But that's all brand new information from that NASA person. Um, uh, Usually, you can still crack a code, and I guess it is very competitive. So be mindful about like what you're presenting to them, and make sure you apply for relevant jobs and you know how to tie it to the work that you have done. Typical process is like you apply online and then they do a resume screening. If you have someone in that company, then it's a little easier for you to get through that resume screening process. And then you go through technical interviews, and then behavioral interviews. So the first one is usually like they judge you how you are as a person, and then it's mostly informal. They'll be like, yeah, tell us something about yourself, and they'll try to know you, and then comes the technical interview if they like you enough. So do maintain a positive vibe, and if you do not know anything, um, just say that you're eager to learn and you can learn, because even if you do not know something, what matters is your confidence in yourself and what you can learn or give them back if you join their company. So having prior project experience is always good. Um, Strong GPA early on is easy to make, so you can bank on it. Um, and also, if you have a really nice resume, if you're in a reputed institution like UIUC, for example, there are people always there to help you with your resume. So even if you have a draft version, you can go through, several rounds of adjustment and making it proper so that it catches their eye, and networking again helps. And faculty recommendations are also important. Sometimes you talk to faculty and then they're like, yeah, we can put you in contact with someone else. So that's rare, but it can happen. Yeah. So internships matter because they help you decide if that's a path that you choose or not. Because if you're, say, interested in something and you want to have an industry experience, then internship kind of provides you with a short, I don't know, mock-up of like what it would be like for you in industry when you graduate. So it also strengthens your resume. So and if you want to have fun, if you want to explore, then internships are basically the best way. And also, like you in college, you learn about a lot of things, so you absorb a lot of information. But in industry, you see the difference. Like most people kind of tell you that whatever they learned in school does not matter so much because whatever they're working on is completely different. So you get to see the difference where it kind of diverges and what all you can apply in your job, basically, and you can bridge that gap. So
Thank you.
Okay, so for our last question to wrap it all up, if we were all to die tomorrow, what is the best piece of advice you would give to the younger generation trying to figure out what their passions and goals are?
stay true to yourself. Do not lie, do not fall into traps that you gotta do something, you have to do something. We are all here for a purpose and we are all here to succeed. Schools make you feel like you have to succeed, but you are already successful. So, whatever you choose, just be authentic, be true to your choices, and move forward. Do not listen to others. Yeah. So, that would be my advice.
Thank you so much for your time.